Hello and welcome back to Down the Track. Today we will be reviewing the Women's World Cup that is starting anytime now. When does it start, Musti? What's the date that it's starting? I forgot the date.
It's starting on Friday, 4th
Friday,
of
this 4th of March. My
yeah.
my my co-host here, Musti, has a big write-up written. That's why I'm going to be sitting on the quiet over here, and Musti is going to be talking a lot about this. Musti is following the women's World Cup like I follow the IPL. So that's just give you guys a little bit of a backdrop of what the amount of work that Musti has done on it. Musti, your thoughts on the World Cup, on what an important occasion it is for the Women's World Cup. There's been a lot of talk about the Women's IPL also coming into the foreplay. Most likely next year there is. So a lot of people, a lot of these players will probably want to go out there, put in a good show, so they can also prove to the BCCI and to the ICC in general that women cricket is also here, and is a revenue generating asset for them to look into a little bit more deeply. What's your
Yeah,
thoughts?
first of all, welcome back, man. Since sunrise,
Yes,
can you hear me?
I can. Yes.
Yeah. So first of all, welcome back. Since that auction, you disappeared. I don't know whether that was either you took the money and ran, or you were disappointed with the auction. I don't know what it was, but I haven't seen you since then. It's been like two weeks, and it's been a long time. And yeah, welcome back to Down the Track, and our
I,
co-host
I
is
got
back,
I
and
got
we
a
can
few
see.
players here and there right though.
You almost, if that Ishan Kishan thing went through, you would have got everything almost
Almost
correct. I would
everything
have
right,
given you,
yeah.
yeah, I would have given you a lot of credit, but that was very unlucky. But yeah, welcome back. We missed you on the show. We had people filling in; they did a great job. But it's always good to have you back. You've been here from day one, so it's
my
always
my
fun.
boys Punter, Vinay. I hope I see you guys soon again. I have
For
missed you
sure, man.
guys.
For sure. So yeah, welcome back. It's always good to talk cricket with you. Always good to pick your brains. And when it comes to the Women's World Cup, I'm really excited about it. I feel that in the last 3-4 years, women's cricket has really picked up. If you see the 2017 World Cup, that England India final, and then the 2020 T20 World Cup, just before we went into lockdown when COVID just erupted, it was a great Australia versus India T20 final. So I'm really enjoying women's cricket in the last 3-4 years. I think the quality has improved. We've seen the level of batting, bowling, all rounders
Fielding.
developing as well. Some high quality cricket that we're seeing on stage, and I'm really excited for this tournament. I've been following women's cricket not as long as many other people, but it's been 4 or 5 years where I am keeping an eye on it, and I'm very excited. So going into this tournament, I thought we'll just discuss some of the teams to look forward to, and of course, someone like Bangladesh. I think they're playing the first World Cup, if I'm not mistaken, and then I think the favorites are Australia. Just because it's not just because they're Australia, but they have a world class team. I think when it comes to women's cricket, Meg Lanning really leads them very well. They have Elisa Healy. You know all about her. I used to stay that night and watch that final. I mean, not with me, but we were chatting throughout
Yeah.
that. We have Punter in the house. He was also chatting to me during that final. He's saying, "Good to see Don back. It's always a pleasure. Glad your fans are back,
Punter,
man."
I've missed you, Punter. I have to talk to you about the IPL, but we'll talk about that later, and we'll talk about it offline because I think it can get heated.
Yeah, especially with Mumbai Indians and stuff. But yeah, I think talking about that Women's World Cup, yeah, Elisa Healy, and then Elisa Perry as well, a very good all rounder. I feel there's a new incoming bowler called Talia Magra. She's also an all rounder. She bats as well. She was really good in the women's Ashes. So
Yeah.
there's plenty of good options. And with Australia, they bat deep. I think their bowling is kind of, I wouldn't say a weakness, but something that you can target as an opposition. But otherwise, this is the set Australian team, the team that you used to see in the men's cricket in the late 90s, 2000s. That's what it is now in women's cricket. You'll need a Harmanpreet Kaur kind of innings. You remember that 170 plus innings in 2017 back in
Fantastic.
England. Yeah, you'll need that kind of innings, I think, to knock Australia out. Otherwise, I think Australia are the favorites. They cover all bases. Their fielding is top class. Captain is top class. They have informed batsmen. They have all rounders, and they have good bowlers as well. So that's I think number one favorites. Number two, I'm going to talk about England. Runners up. not runners up, defending champions. England are
Champions,
champions.
defending
Yeah.
championship.
The reason why I'm putting them number two, I think, they felt a bit short recently, especially in that women's Ashes in Australia. They were dominated. There were glimpses that they played well, I feel, but the bowling kind of let them down. But they have Heather Knight, who's extremely experienced. She's a really good batsman. She's captained the side well. And then they have Nat Skiver. I don't know how to exactly pronounce, but Nat Skiver, the Nutmeg. In
Yeah,
France, invented that shot in between the legs. So she's a really good all-rounder to look forward to, I feel. And these guys are closing into their 30s. They're at the peak of their career. This might be not the last World Cup, but this is when they're on the top
good
and they'll want.
opportunity.
Yeah. So she's someone definitely that I would look forward to. Then there's Tammy Beaumont and I forgot the bowler's name. Catherine Brunt, is it? The one with Shafali Verma. They have a
Yeah.
big rivalry going on. So there are plenty of experience for England. I think they can reach the semi-finals. They can push for the finals as well. It'll be competitive against Australia. It's always going to be tough. But right now, I'm keeping them semi-finalists. I'm keeping Australia as the finalist. Then we'll move on to the third favorite team for me. I think it's New Zealand. They're playing in home conditions. I always have that advantage, but honestly, apart from that, they have a very good team right
Squad.
now.
Yep.
The very good squad. Their captain is Sophie Devine. It used to be Susie Bates, I think. I'm not sure, but Susie Bates was one of their best batsmen. Sophie Devine, great batsman, can bowl as well, and she's a very experienced captain. But watch out for Amelia Kerr. I think she might be one of the finds of this World Cup. The series against India, she's absolutely smashed it. She was with the bat, very, very consistent. She has all the shots. Very exciting batsman. Strike rate is also very good. So she's someone that I would recommend, to watch in this World Cup. And I think these guys might reach the finals. I just have this feeling because they have someone Susie Bates, Sophie Devine, then Amelia Kerr gives you that. That different type of youth energy, if you'd like to call it. And then they have bowlers as well. There's Lee Taha, there's Georgia Plimmer, Hannah Rowe. So they have bowlers as well. And these are their conditions. They will be comfortable with that. They'll know exactly what to expect. In New Zealand, generally, we see good batting wickets, but I think under lights, there's going to be a lot of, there might be some seam around as well. And then the fourth team that I wanted to talk about is, I'll talk about three in one go, because I think they're fighting for the fourth space. That's India. That's South Africa, and I think West Indies, even Pakistan. These four teams will be fighting for that fourth space. There's no guarantee. The reason why I'm not confirming India there, they've had a poor series against New Zealand in New Zealand. The next two warm-up games after that have been really good. They've won their warm-up games, just though it was a close shout. One thing that I would give India the advantage with is that they've been in these conditions, so they're acclimatized compared to the other teams apart from New Zealand. So that will give them one advantage. I think Jemima Rodriguez not being there is kind of an issue. Even though she's a T20 player, I know, but I would like to see her in one-day cricket. But Smriti Mandhana, she's the batsman to watch out for. She has that strike rate. She can score those big hundreds, the Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli types. So I think, and then India do have all-rounders as well. And then Mithali Raj and Harmanpreet guys have plenty of experience, and you need them to shine.
Absolutely. Experience always matters.
Yeah. And from South Africa, my namesake, she has the same last name as me, Shabnam Ismail. So she's a world-class fast bowler, man. I think she's one of the best fast bowlers in women's cricket, not just because she shares my last name. I've honestly seen her.
I'm sure there's a bit of bias there, though.
There could be, but even Punter also messes around with me when he sees her bowl. But she's a very, very good bowler.
She's a good bowler, though. Yep.
I've seen her. I think since 2017, I've been watching her bowl, even in the T20 matches, and she's one bowler that every team struggles with. She has the pace. She can roughen up the bats, the batters.
Bounce.
Yeah, with the batters, with the bounce, and she has a good Yorker as well. So I think she's an extremely good bowler to watch out for. And they do have batting, South Africa. They have decent fielding as well. So I think they're in and around. They can make that fourth spot. They can make that semi-final spot theirs as well. So they will be competing. Then there's West Indies as well. I think in Doughton, she's someone in South Africa just recently scored like some crazy innings. Like she was killing it. Hundreds and stuff like that. So she's another batsman that you'll want to watch out for in this World Cup. And West Indies is that kind of team. I would say a bogey team. They might not make it to the top four, but they will cause problems. They will cause upsets. So the people who are going on that road to the semi-finals, West Indies might, come and surprise you, whether that be in England, maybe in Australia, New Zealand. These guys, West Indies can trouble. They might not make it to the semis, but they will trouble, I feel, teams.
Similar to their men's counterpart.
Yeah. similar to the men's counterpart. Again, it's 50 T20. They've won it in 2016 alongside the men's. So they do have that championship thing in them, but this is 50 overs. It's going to be a challenge.
Different ball game.
Conditions also. And then Pakistan, there's Bisma comes to mind, and they're always when I watch Pakistan, she's very experienced. She's been playing for a while, but Pakistan have plenty of good cricketers, and I think they can cause some problems as well in this 50 over World Cup. Bisma is their captain, in fact, and then there's Nida Dar, Muniba Ali, the wicketkeeper, Sidra Amin. Javeria Khan, she's a very experienced player as well. So Pakistan do have a good team. But again, the first match India-Pakistan, that'll kind of dictate where things go. We saw what happened in the T20 World Cup when the men's lost to Pakistan, the Indian men's. That kind of dictated both sides' tournament, how it went. So if Pakistan do beat India, they put India under pressure, then they have a chance against other teams. You could say they're kind of unpredictable. But I think because it's not in the subcontinent, those spinners might have, I wouldn't say they'll be exposed, but they might not be as effective as in the subcontinent. It'll be very interesting to see, Don. I don't know, you can tell me your thoughts on this. This is going to be the first time when there's going to be I think 10 to 15 day-night matches. I mean, I don't know the exact figure, but there's going to be plenty of day-night matches. And women's cricket, normally you see day matches. The last World Cup had, I think, 3 day-night, if I'm not 3 or 4. And I think this World Cup is going to be 15 day-night matches. So will that affect the players, because they're not as experienced playing day-night cricket? I think only England, Australia, and then a bit of India and New Zealand have played day-night cricket. New Zealand have played a bit more than India, I think. But apart from that, day-night cricket is going to be something new for these women going into the World Cup.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's always a challenge when you're playing under the lights. There is a little bit more to work with, and there won't be any dew issues and stuff like that in New Zealand. So there'll be a lot of swing with that cool breeze coming in the evening, and then under the lights, it's always going to be a challenge, irrespective of however good player you are. Sometimes when the lights are in full fledged and the ball is nipping around a bit, it's going to be a challenge for any batsman. So it's going to be interesting. Like you said, Australia and England will have that little bit of an advantage. Apart from having a good team, they will also have the advantage of playing in day-night conditions, and then for them that will be the decisive factor. I think it could be it might be a very, very minuscule difference, but it will be a difference that'll be worth taking into consideration for some of the teams that have not faced too much of day-night cricket. For sure, that's going to be a factor for most teams.
Yeah, 100%, and that's what I feel as well, because it does kind of make a difference. But an interesting stat that I saw as well was that run rate kind of increased under lights. So there is a bit of swing in New Zealand and in particular. But I think after you negotiate that swing, you can actually start to play your shots, and I think the ball comes onto the bat a bit better. That's what the stats have shown. Now in the World Cup, we'll kind of understand things. This is towards the end of the summer, if I'm not mistaken. The summer's still going on, but it's towards the end of that summer, so it might get cold as well. A few nights it might not swing as much. It'll be conditions can change, and we expect these players to adapt to these conditions, and hoping for an exciting tournament. I'm very excited there. Is there anything you wanted to add or you wanted to ask, because I've been talking a lot?
No, I think for me, on a general point of view, I think like you said, the women's cricket over the past couple of years has increased the standard, and there is a big shout for women franchise cricket also being a big important part. You see, like with the IPL, it's become almost like the most important go-to tournament, with everyone looking forward to it and talking about it for months. And us as well, we talk about it for months and stuff. I think women's cricket has unfortunately not gotten the same kind of exposure, but I think that these kind of tournaments, if they can really portray that they are a good, that they can show a challenging cricket, and if they can generate the revenue, I think a lot of franchise would start looking at that as an option as well. It might not be as on a larger scale, as large a scale as the IPL is right now, but I think somewhere you have to start, and maybe a small tournament, see how it goes, and then improve on it as the IPL has also improved in the past 15 years. So I think that these kind of tournaments will really set the tone. If there is some good challenging cricket that is being played, there is some good nervy games and good crowds going in to watch the games, and if they get some good sponsorship deals and stuff like that, I think there is a lot of future for this women's side as well. I think that these kind of tournaments will be very important. So I'm looking forward to a good tournament of a few days of good cricket, and hopefully the best team hopefully wins, and hopefully it's just exciting cricket for all the fans like us to watch.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, there is a lot of improvement. There's still a long way to go. Like you said,
Of
long way to
course.
go. I would like them to invest more in it. I would like to see more ICC tournaments, because the last time we saw an ICC women's tournament, it was the T20 in 2020, and that final had a capacity of around 80,000 people, and it was full. Right,
Right.
it was
Right.
packed to the rafters, and I think for a women's cricket event, that was one of the biggest occasions, and it was like loud in that stadium. So you want to see more of that in the women's game, because and I think the more you invest in it, the more money you put in, you will get you will get the rewards, because you get to see quality cricket. I think whether it was that tournament or even the 2017 tournament, I watched that very closely, and I remember the final, India lost by like around 9 runs. It was a very close final, so you will get that cricket, but it's about getting those people to watch it and everything. And the way you do that, there's different routes, different techniques. One thing that I think they've done really well is, in particular, which they can translate it into bilaterals as well, is they're getting top notch commentators, whether it's the women commentators, the men commentators, the ones you see in World Cups, you see them in men's World Cup, you see them in women's World Cup. Nasir Hussain is there. It
Yeah.
was good to see Nasir Hussain interview Mel. Her name is Mel Gibson, if I'm not
Yeah. Mel
mistaken, or
Gibson. Yep.
Mel Gibbs. Yeah. So he was interviewing her, like switched roles, like he was hosting the show, and he was just today, and he was asking her about the tournament and everything. And I like to see, the likes of Nasir Hussain. We've seen Harsha Bogle there as well. Alan Wilkins goes as well for ICC tournament. So I think, like the under 19 World Cup, I think these commentators who are there, these big guys, speaking about the game, it spreads awareness. A lot of people
Absolutely.
follow these guys on Twitter and everything. It just spreads awareness, and I think that's how you spread it, whether it's Twitter, Instagram. And I think the last T20 World Cup was a very good advert. Punter just has a comment. He's saying facilities provided makes a lot of difference. Do you think the same affects more in subcontinent women's cricket compared to Australia, England, New Zealand, as men's cricket is given more importance in subcontinent countries?
It's unfortunately true. I think, like you're very clearly seeing, like like for example, in Australia, you see like the amount of uh, funds and that are raised for the women's game is almost as equal, if not more than the men's game as well. There is that kind of capacity. They trend, like I keep going back to generating revenue. I think the women's cricket also generates equal amount of revenue. If or even if they don't, it's close enough. So the amount of money that's coming in from the women's game is on a better scale than it is for the Indian cricket, at least. So it is unfortunately true that there is that gaping hole that needs to be voided. But I think the facilities need to be provided. You have to make an investment if you want the return. So that investment needs to go in from the BCCI, and once they see more and more of that happening, that's the only reason. Like it took India a good amount of time to get to the level in the IPL that they are at this. We talk about 10, 12 years of cricket, where there was constant improvement. There was constant investment. Even a lot of the franchises are still not making money, but there is that intent is there. Now you're seeing, like they are reaping a lot of rewards. Franchises are reaping a lot of rewards for the money that they put in, even almost 10, 12 years ago. So that's the investment that you need. You need investment, patience, and there is definitely capability. But I think that definitely subcontinent needs to up their game in terms of supporting their women cricket for sure.
Yeah, 100%. And I think India, the problem is not just the men and women. I completely agree with you and Punter when you guys say that, but it's disproportionate to all sports also. Like the amount of
True.
money that's invested in men's cricket compared to any other sport or any other gender, it's completely, it's very
We've
disproportionate.
we've seen it in football as well. America
Yeah.
keeps winning, and there's like a big fight for equality in pay over here and stuff like that. And when I said Australian cricket, I didn't mean that they are paid equally, but I'm just saying that there is a generation of revenue. It's not the
Yeah,
same,
you're
the
putting that
revenue
money
that
in there.
generate. Yeah, exactly.
And like even in England, like you see football. It's I think the investment is much more than cricket than
Yeah.
football, but you're making good money in cricket as well. Where in India, you're making loads of money, but it's just in one sport
Right.
and just men's cricket. And yeah, it trickles down, I think, to Ranji Trophy a bit, to under 19 a bit, to women's cricket a bit, and I think women's cricket has improved.
Yeah.
If you look at India, since 2017, they're reaching finals now. They're competing in the big tournaments. They're causing problems for the opposition. They're playing bilateral series as well. They're going on away tours. We just saw them in Australia, where it was in September, October. I think October, November they were there. So I think they are, it is trickling down. But of course, you need to pump in a lot of money, and a lot of the infrastructure needs to improve. And I don't know what they're waiting for the IPL, because I think they're just waiting for them to win, because it's strange that over the years women's cricket has you have your 100 women's league, you have Big Bash women's league. Now today I was reading news that PSL women are also trying to start something. So
Yeah.
I'm very surprised that a women's IPL is not there, and I'm sure it will. Any type of cricket, and especially women's cricket has really picked up. There is quality there, and I think you can always have some entertainment. Maybe I don't know what it is, but just I would like to see some competition there, and yeah, it'll grow. I think it'll grow. It takes some time, but it'll grow. We always watch the under 19 World Cup and everything, but over here it's like the best of the under 19 is just under 19. Over here you have the best
Yeah.
of the women's game. You have all the players, whether you're young and everything. So you will see quality players, and I think we should really look forward to it. I'll just tell you maybe like 5 players to watch out for from my end. You can see if you want to agree with me.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Let's go.
Uh,
Let's go.
I think I'll go with Elisa Perry
Hmm.
of Australia. Elise Perry, sorry. And then I would go Nat Skiver.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Emilia, from New Zealand that I mentioned, Emilia Kerr from
Hmm.
New Zealand, and then I'm gonna go Smriti Mandana and my namesake Shabnam Ismail.
I was
I
just
think
waiting. I thought that'd be the first name on the list, but
no,
it's
I
like
was I
if
was
that doesn't come
confused.
in, I was gonna call you out on it. But I
I
think
think
Shabnam
Dottin
Ismail for
and
sure.
Dottin and Ismail. I think it's between them for the fifth for me. But I think I went kind of mainstream, not too mainstream because I didn't pick Meg Landings. I didn't pick the Heather Knights. I didn't pick the Smith. Mithali
Mithali
Rajes.
Raj.
Yeah, I didn't pick the captains or anything like that. I picked different types of different types, like maybe all rounders and match winners. And watch out for Talia, and that's not how you pronounce it, but Talia Magra. The way it's spelled, there's a street here in Jeddah called Tahlia, so like it's the same spelling. But yeah, I think Talia Magra, she's a very good all rounder. She had a very good Ashes, so watch out for her.
Watch out for Julan Goswami. She's been playing the game of cricket for a
Dude,
long time, and she's always been consistent for Indian cricket. Hopefully, there's another good tournament from her to come.
Punter Singh, do you think playing one or two games in a year by forming teams with men and women together will help women cricket go more, or maybe men's versus women's team in the future? That's I think he's talking about like mixed doubles like tennis. I think maybe he's getting the idea from there. But like in football, it's not happened, and women's football, especially in America, is very popular. But I don't know, man. I don't know how
I
whether that will
I
benefit.
think a men's versus women's is a bad idea. I think that you don't want to do maybe mix it up a little bit, but I think they should keep it separate and they should try to figure a way out
Or he's
to
getting it from
improve.
wrestling, mixed tag team. I don't know.
Mm.
WWE, he's watching a lot of Raw
Yeah,
and SmackDown. But
some
I
Raw,
think
SmackDown,
for a
tennis.
start, you know what I would do? Like how they were doing the World Cups before. How were the World Cups played? The World Cups were simultaneously played. You had the women's game in the evening and the men's game in the night. You saw the
Yeah,
2016 T20 World Cup was played like that. Even
yeah,
2009, I think it was played like that.
yeah,
So
yeah.
now they're an isolated event, right? And now people are can make that interest. So with bilateral, maybe you do that as well. If you have like a England Australia game, you have the women's game in the evening and then men's game in the night, and I think that can kind of attract more than anything.
That's a good shout, yeah. And I think more than just having like three or four games that they have in the IPL, make it a week long tournament, make it a 2 week long tournament. Try to get a slightly bigger window to just focus on that and see if it is indeed getting some footfall in, and maybe who knows, it might just make BCCI more money, and then they'll be happy enough to invest more in it. It's gonna start somewhere. Like there is an option like you mentioned. There's some kind of it's got to start somewhere where they start putting in that investment, and then in the future they will definitely see a return on that investment for sure.
Yeah. Don, give me your top four and ranking 1 to 4 for the World Cup.
I think you've kind of hit the nail on the head with this one. Australia, England, New Zealand, and I just go for India on bias purposes. So I think just that'll be my top four. I think Australia, England, New Zealand, and India.
And India, yeah, but I think the fourth spot will be
It's going to be a
can be
lot
fought
harder
for.
than yeah.
Yeah. And I want to see, like, if England still continue that consistency, it'll be interesting. If they don't make it, that's going to be big news. But I think that the top four will be in and around there. Then you need a special innings can knock any team out. But right now it looks like Australia are the favorites, but New Zealand are right up there for me as well. I feel that New Zealand have a very good team, and that Amelia Kerr is really impressing me, man. I think she might be the woman of the tournament in this series. But it's too early to tell. There's still a lot of cricket to be played. You never know who's going to surprise you, and there might be injuries, there might be things. But hoping to see a great tournament. And yeah, I will catch you soon. There's also a lot of Test cricket that we have to discuss. So we'll do an episode very soon whenever you're free. Big series coming up from Australia, Pakistan, and then you have Virat Kohli's 100th Test match. So we'll
Looking
discuss
forward
that
to it,
whenever
man.
you're free.
Absolutely.
All right, take care, man.
Take care.
Thank you, Punter, and thank you everyone joining us. Thank you.